What is going on, y'all? It is the Caveman. I'm late to start the show because I'm never prepared for anything. But welcome back. Monday nights, The Cave live every Monday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm very excited to bring you another installment. I believe this is episode 8 now. And once again, I apologize for starting it very late. I was not productive today. And then I was not very prepared, which led to the late start. But without further ado, we're going to get right into it right off the bat. We have a very special guest. You guys do not need to be introduced to this man. He is one of the hardest working and most creative people in the entire Bills Mafia community, and I'm very happy to welcome him back on the show, and it's going to be a very good one tonight. And with that being said, I am bringing in my buddy, my good friend, Justus General. What's going on, man? I'm happy to have you on.
Yeah, when I introduce people on my show, they'll be like, "Wow, that was really nice. I felt really good." And I'm like, "Bro, what are you talking about? You deserve all that." But hearing it on the other end is like, wow, that was a great intro. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
Of course. I mean, every word of it's true. We talk relatively often. We've gotten pretty close over this whole podcasting YouTube thing, and you truly become a really, really, really great friend to me. So absolutely. I appreciate you tremendously, 100%. Justus, for not only coming on the show, but sticking around for me backstage while I scrambled to get prepared. But if you guys are not familiar with Justus by some off chance, that's where the guest spotlight comes into play. Justus General is a content manager for the BuffaloFamBase Network. This guy is the manager for the podcasting and YouTube segment of the BuffaloFamBase, the official network of the Bills Mafia fan base. He's a highlight compilation creator. This guy is one of the best in the entire game when it comes to making compilations. The host of Justice for All Home Field Advantage, which him and I do every Wednesday, and then as well as First Round By, which he does on Fridays, and then Justice for All, which I did on Tuesdays. And of course, Justice's links will be down in the description below. Is there anything else I forgot? Is there anything you want to throw in there?
Bro, I was like, that was so dope, yo. That was cool as hell. Oh man, that was really cool. No, man, you got everything, man. You got everything.
All right, perfect, man. So without holding anybody up too long, especially Justus, because he already waited so long for me, we're going to get right into the recent events news. Recent events, there was a little bit that had happened this week, not only Bills related, but just around the NFL, a bunch of things that I wanted to touch on. And the first one being, I think this happened today. Aaron Donald gets a massive extension. I don't even know the numbers because I don't think I can count even close to that number. I mean, my God, out of all teams, the Los Angeles Rams were a team that we all thought had no money, had no capital, had nothing left, and they're still out here somehow finding money to pay one of the best defensive players, if not the best of all time. I don't know how they managed to do it.
I mean, I don't know how they managed to do it either. That is, I believe, off the top of my head, I think it's 2-3 years, $96 million or something to that degree. And that's like 30, 31, 32 million dollars a year, for a defensive tackle. Now, in my opinion, for my money, he's the best that ever did it. He's the best to ever do it. He is the best defensive player ever. So when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, sure, that's a good deal because he is the best to ever do it. But that is a very large number for a defensive tackle, just off the rip like that. That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's an absurd number. I think it made him the highest paid non-QB in NFL history. Rightfully so. I mean, the guy deserves every cent he got. I mean, for somebody that seemed to be leveraging retirement, the Los Angeles Rams did everything in their power to make sure that guy was not going anywhere because their Super Bowl chances, back-to-back Super Bowl chances, I should say, plummet without Aaron Donald. So that was the latest news. The second latest news, I believe I got these all in chronological order. Deshaun Watson was hit with his 24th civil suit. This guy is, finding his way further and further into the woods when, as time has progressed, you'd expect it to be the opposite. But it's not looking great for Deshaun Watson. What kind of suspension do you think he's going to get? What do you think he should get? Where's your mind at with this?
See, this is tricky. I don't know. I'm a little scared of this one, because this one is very unique in the sense that he wasn't charged criminally, right? You know what I mean? And so then on the flip side, they have to suspend him. I don't know if the NFL is going to suspend him as long as people think he's going to be suspended, right? Or should be suspended. And that kind of scares me because I don't know what that'll lead to. You know what I mean? And like my team is finally good. And you know, the NFL, the downfall of the NFL is gonna come at the expense of this man. Like I don't know, man. Like honestly, to me, it should be like at minimum a year, like minimum. At least until you get this figured out. You know, I don't think you should be able to play football. You know, until you can settle this problem and figure out, you know, what is happening and why it's happening, and who's responsible and what the appropriate, you know, compensation to be, whether that's prison time or whatever the case may be. You know, I think it should be resolved before he should play another down, in my opinion. And I don't know if that's. I think they might hit him with like 6 games, 8 games, something like that. And I think like there's going to be like an uproar, revolt, and I don't know, man.
No, I mean, I'm right there with you. I still think that the NFL is going to take this lighter than they should. But I mean, adding a 24th case is just, it's crazy. I mean, 24 people, the number before, I think it was 20, I think 22. And then like sometime midway through this week, it was 23. And then I think like yesterday, the day before, it became 24. So it's like this number is continuously climbing. And I read one of the articles from one of the plaintiffs, and it was disturbing, as you'd expect. But it's like he also, I don't know if you saw it, but apparently he offered $100,000 to each of the plaintiffs to try and get them to dismiss the case. That doesn't smell like innocence to me. I mean, I wouldn't be, if I knew in my heart that I did nothing wrong, that everything was consensual, you know, whatever it was, you know, I would not be trying to offer them money. I would not be trying to, you know, play into their games if, you know, Deshaun Watson's going to take the angle of they're trying to take my money or they're trying to take advantage of me. I would not be allowing them to do that. And it just seems like, you know, the more and more Deshaun Watson, you know, is got this black cloud over his head, it doesn't seem like it's getting any lighter. And I'm starting to think that it's going to be at least a year. And, you know, if it's even longer, this might be one of the worst trades in NFL history if Deshaun Watson, you know, really misses substantial time and these numbers continue to climb.
I'm with you. The only thing is the NFL is so tone deaf, it's not funny.
Yeah.
They're like extremely tone deaf, and I think it's gonna like bite them in the butt, you know, and it's gonna I don't know how that's gonna look, you know.
Yeah, you're right, totally. And you like to think that this one will wake them up, but who knows? I guess only time will tell with that. But the next thing that happened, I think this was like 4 days ago now at this point. I think it was the second. Ryan Fitzpatrick retired as a Buffalo Bill.
Did he?
Yes.
He signed with the Bills? Oh, that's
it
dope.
was silent. It was completely silent. You can go on the Buffalo Bills transaction page and see what their latest moves were, and it says retired Ryan Fitzpatrick or something along those lines. That was awesome. That was heartwarming. I heard he retired. I wasn't sure if it was as a Bill, but knowing it was as a Bill, it just makes it that much sweeter. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, man. I honestly I didn't know. I knew he retired, and you know, of course, I appreciate Ryan Fitzpatrick, you know, as a guy. Like he's awesome. He's an awesome person. I appreciate what he did for Buffalo in his time here. He gave us something to root for, you know, and he was cool and, you know, personable. And it was really fun to have him as our quarterback. Obviously, he gets along with the fans really well. You see him in the stands in playoff games, you know, screaming and below freezing weathers and with no shirt. So obviously Ryan Fitzpatrick is Bills Mafia through and through, you know. So I was really excited, or I was really like I was like happy for him. Like you had a great career, you know. It was like a moment of celebration. But to hear that he retired as a Bill honestly makes me feel even better because I think he should, you know. This is where he belongs, honestly.
Yeah, he's made that very evident, you know, throughout his playing days and up to this point. He's really shown his love to us, and you know, we've shown our love to him. And you know, I think most players do show appreciation, you know, to our fan base. But Ryan Fitzpatrick has, you know, done that to the maximum, and I really appreciate that from him. But that also happened. This is kind of news that I want. These are all just big headlines that I thought were worth mentioning. John Madden was on the cover of Madden 23. I thought that was worth mentioning. When do you think Josh Allen will ever find his way on the cover? Because I felt like if there was a year for it to happen, it would have been this year. But of course, you can't not have John Madden, the late John Madden, on it. Like, when does Josh Allen fit into the mold?
I mean, if you want my opinion, I hope he doesn't. I really have no interest in seeing John Madden on the cover of the Buffalo Bills. I really don't, because I believe in the Madden curse to a degree. I just, anybody who's been on the cover is rarely ever like gone on and won the Super Bowl that year and had like an amazing year, and of course this year, obviously, it kind of had to make it John Madden, right? But maybe they're going to have to make, if he continues to play at the level that he has been playing at the last 2 years, they're going to have to make him the cover athlete at some point. So I'm not really pressed about it. It'd be cool to like see my quarterback on my Madden game. That would be really, really dope, and I would buy it 100%. But if he ever is on the cover, I hope it's in the game where they actually update the gameplay and make it more than a $99 now roster update. It's $99 this year. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently so. So if Josh Allen's ever on the cover of a game, I hope it's on the game that they actually improve from year to year.
Yeah, knowing it's $99 makes me not want to talk about this anymore. All right, so moving on from that, this is the final piece of news, and the only thing I have to say about this is, did you watch it? Did you happen to watch the match? All right, so that will roll us right into our first Q&A question, which is going to be, who do you like more, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady? Not as a quarterback, just as a persona, who they appear to be at the very least to the media.
See, everything in my soul tells me to hate Tom Brady, right? However, I am objective and I can recognize that massive handicap he has from being the quarterback that dismantled my defense for 20 years, right? So I can recognize the bias, right? But over these last few years that he's been in Tampa and we've seen his personality a little bit more, it's kind of hard not to love the guy. And everything in my soul tells me to hate him, but he's like so freaking likable, and it just pisses me off even more, right? So with that in mind, I would have to say it's Tom Brady by default, right? Just because if I hate him at the pit of my core and I'm still trying not to like him, it must mean that it's because on some level I do like him. So, I will go with Tom Brady there. Please don't kill me, Bills Mafia.
No, at least you admit it, because I'm in the same boat. I mean, I tell my dad, like, you watching the match? Did you see what Tom Brady said? I always poke him about it, because no matter what Tom Brady could donate $400 million to a charity. He would probably still I can't stand this guy. And, I guess there was something that happened with his brand that was shitty to some capacity.
He asked Josh, he's like, "Hey, Josh, you ever seen one of those?" And it was a Super Bowl on the golf ball. Josh was like, "I've seen one." Yeah,
yeah, I mean, he is a likable guy, and it's like, as Bills fans, we just have this different viewpoint of him, obviously, as you mentioned, because of what he did to us for a number of years. But it's like, especially next to Aaron Rodgers, just watching the match, it's like, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, they couldn't be more opposite in terms of who they were personally. I mean, Aaron Rodgers just did not look interested, as far as the sociable, interactive event part of it, where he just was there to play golf. And I guess it's fine, but he could have
at least definitely missable.
Yeah. It's like, you could have at least made it seem like you were likable. I mean, he just did not seem like he cared at all about anything else. And it's like, get over yourself, dude. Like, you're nowhere near the greatness level of the guy you're playing with. Stop acting like you're the greatest quarterback of all time. I mean, if Tom Brady was acting like that, I'd at least be like, well, at least he has that ground to stand on. I wouldn't excuse it, but it's like I just thought he was an asshole, and I wanted to.
Honestly, that kind of, you make a good point, because it's like, if Tom Brady was like that, it would kind of be like Michael Jordan. Like, when you think of Michael Jordan, you probably don't think of a nice guy. It's kind of like a competitor, like, not talking to you until I win, that type of thing. But Tom Brady was out there like joking and laughing and talking. Like, he was honestly, I love Josh. the most entertaining guy there on the course that day. You know what I mean? And it was obviously Josh was second. And Patrick Mahomes was kind of quiet, but at least he was talking. And then Aaron Rodgers was just kind of like in the background.
Yeah, he literally, I think he turned his headphones off. Like the commentators were trying to ask him questions.
Oh yeah, they
just,
said he broke.
It's like, seriously, dude, like at least somewhat interact. It's like, you're such a lame ass. Anyway, let's talk about a little bit more. Well, actually, this question is even. It's a good question. I mean, which NBA player is Josh Allen most similar to? I saw this question posted on Twitter, and I wanted to know what your thoughts were on this.
You see, this is where you get me in trouble, K-Man, because I'm going to say the player that he actually is most similar to, and people will be like, no, you D-Red, and no, you just a homer. No. If I'm thinking about it, okay, he's bigger than everybody else, all right? He's faster than about 90% of the other quarterbacks. He's stronger than 95% of the other quarterbacks, if not all of them. Boy, leaping. He's quick as LeBron James. It is, K-Man, tell me I'm wrong. It is LeBron. Josh Allen is the LeBron James of football. Patrick Mahomes, and you know what? I think that's a great comparison because I think Patrick Mahomes might be the Michael Jordan, to be honest with you. He might be the Michael Jordan. But LeBron is bigger, faster, stronger, can do way more things on the basketball court, is obviously an overall better basketball player than Michael Jordan. But people will be like, no, but Jordan the GOAT. It's kind of the same with Josh and Pat, right? It's like, even though this guy is like doing magic on the field, like by himself, you know, Patrick Mahomes performs a couple magic tricks, and then you get to watch Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce do the rest. And you're like, oh, no, that guy's greater, you know, because he won more and all whatever. But I'm sorry, I digress. Josh Allen is just like LeBron James.
I mean, depending on how you look at it from a physical standpoint, absolutely. I mean, you look at Josh Allen's considered the unicorn of quarterbacks. Like, this is not something that comes around ever. I mean, nobody has ever seen anything like this.
Were you going to say Luka?
I don't know. I mean, I honestly couldn't think of one off the top of my head. The tweet that I saw this from said he was like Steph, just because of not because of the physical parts of it, which is the part you brought up, and I think that's, you know, obviously more than fair. But
when it first came up, I thought Steph, but I was like, because it's not like super crazy. Like he don't always make it look easy. He actually like was like, yo, what the was that? But it was like it didn't look easy. That's for damn sure. Like that looked difficult as hell. But I'm sorry, you could finish your thoughts on Steph. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's all right. I mean, I honestly, I don't know. It's a really tough question. I mean, in my mind, I think Mahomes would be like the Steph Curry.
I was going to say either Mahomes or Rodgers, because when I look at some of Rodgers' throws, I'm like, what a freaking throw. And he just, the little side arm he does, and he's just accurate every single time. So I would look at him like maybe Curry or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. I honestly didn't have an answer to it, to be perfectly honest. I just wanted to know your thoughts on it because Josh Allen, I feel like there are other quarterbacks that you can make that comparison with, but Josh Allen, I just don't know. I mean, I really don't know. LeBron is a very good answer because of the physical part of things, but otherwise, it's like I don't think there's another NBA player that's so physically dominant the same way Josh is in football. But at the same time, Josh hasn't had like the greatness aspect yet. At least accomplished in his career to compare him to other great. It's just a weird middle ground. But anyway, the third question for the question and answer I have for you is, which QBs in the NFL, in your opinion, currently have fallen victim to Superman syndrome? And Superman syndrome is terminology that I kind of came up with, God knows how long, just a couple months ago. And it means like a quarterback that feels like they have the world on their shoulders. They try to do too much and eventually just collapse under their own pressure.
Superman syndrome. Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, to a lesser degree, Tua.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see this year, especially.
Yeah, exactly. Kirk Cousins, Ryan Fitzpatrick, a ton. Oh my God, Carson Wentz is the poster boy for this.
Yes, Carson Wentz is a guy that I had in the top. Carson Wentz, Sam Darnold,
Darnold is a good one.
Danny Dimes. Those are the three guys that came to the forefront of my mind when I talked about these three guys.
I wouldn't put Danny Dimes there yet. I'm gonna wait to see what he does with a competent offense. Because I do think he has talent. But I thought Sam Darnold had talent too, so I could be wrong. But Carson Wentz is the poster boy for it. Yeah, I like some of the Baker is tough, right? Because I do think Baker is on this list and probably would be on this list regardless if he was injured or not. But I do have to account that he was like very, very injured, so I don't give him too much of that. And of course, Cam Newton, but I don't even know if he's still in the league.
I think Cam Newton's a good answer too. I think Cam Newton with New England is a good answer. I mean, who are his pass catchers? God knows who knows. I don't know who the hell they've had pass catching for the Patriots quarterbacks the last 2 seasons. I mean, my God, like poor Cam Newton.
Was it Brandon Cooks? Did they get Brandon Cooks?
He was gone before
a week or two.
Jones got there.
They got Gordon for like a couple weeks. I don't remember.
Yeah, but I mean, there were just a couple quarterbacks that I felt like, you looked at them, they looked like they had promise. I thought Sam Darnold, Carson Wentz was a perfect answer. I think Sam Darnold is another guy that fits us so well. It's like he had so many flashes in New York. He just never had the supporting system around him. And he just eventually started to do too much, tried to do too much, throws too big interceptions, makes stupid plays. And now his career is probably getting flushed down the toilet. Whether or not he starts, I guess is a different story, but I don't have much faith left in him. But I think he just mentally got smashed by the Superman syndrome that he, endured during his time in New York. And now eventually it's just going to collapse on his entire NFL career. Unfortunately, because, we both were Sam Darnold fans to some extent. We wanted to see, what he could offer. I mean, Russell Wilson, I don't know about on the Broncos, but on the Seahawks last year, I think this could have this maybe could have fit.
I would agree if I wasn't so down on Pete Carroll right now. Like I kind of feel like I want to blame it all on Pete Carroll, to be honest, because I saw what Russell Wilson did for like a decade or give or take, and then all of a sudden they're just hot garbage, and then it's like let Russ cook. And then he goes out there, he looks like an MVP. And then all of a sudden they've been garbage ever since. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like, I don't know. I haven't watched enough of the Seahawks film, but I do feel like Russ is going to have like a resurgence in Denver. I don't think he's going to be a bad quarterback. I think he's going to go back to being a top 5 quarterback, especially when you consider guys like Burrow and Herbert are making people's top 5s, and I don't think they deserve to be there yet. So,
yeah, for real. Honestly, I mean, that's a whole conversation we can get to. That's a whole tangent that we could probably open up if we really wanted to. But for right now, we're going to move on. So the next portion that I added to the show is the Would You Rather portion. So this wasn't actually a segment when I first had you on the first time around. The Would You Rather segment, I basically put a player up on the pedestal, and I put them up against 5 other players, and you tell me which player you would rather have. It's, a pretty straightforward game. And this one is specifically made for you, Justus. This one is directly targeting you. The Jameson Williams Would You Rather edition. This is going to be tough because he's a rookie. We don't know. We haven't seen anything yet, coming off an injury. We're going to start off. I think I know the answer to this one, but Jameson Williams versus Kadarius.
Jameson Williams.
I kind of figured. I kind of figured that would be an easy one for you. Second, Jameson Williams versus Heisman winner Devonta Smith.
I'll go Jameson. That's a good one. But I'll go Jameson.
All right. Jameson Williams takes 2 out of 2 to start with. The third one, it's only going to get harder. Jameson Williams versus Jaylen Waddle.
I knew you was going to go there. I was like, you could go Jaylen Waddle next.
I know you got a lot of birdie love for this man.
Because I feel like Jameson Williams is the next Jamar Chase, Jaylen Waddle type player. And I feel like those two are like the next best wide receivers in the NFL. As soon as, Jaylen Waddle gets a quarterback, it's going to be very, very scary. I'm going to say I'm going to take Jameson Williams. Okay.
Wow.
I'm going to squeak it out to him. because he's a rookie and because I just feel like he is a better wide receiver, like overall. I think he can do more on the field. Oh man, but Jaylen Waddle is so good. All right. This is like a tie. Honestly, this is like a wash.
All right. All right, I'll take a wash. I mean, that's tough.
Okay,
that is really tough. I'll take a wash, though. That's close because, especially right now, we don't actually know what Jameson Williams is going to be. So that's what makes it even tougher. But that's why I chose Jameson Williams for this reason for you. 4 is Jameson Williams versus Odell Beckham Jr.
I would take Odell Beckham Jr. this year. Well, obviously. Well, actually, I wouldn't take either of them this year. I would take Odell Beckham Jr. next year. But if this is like I'm a GM and I have the option of both of these guys, I'm going to take Jameson Williams just based off of future potential. And honestly, now that OBJ is here, I'm actually going to be honest. I would take Waddle.
You take Waddle?
I would take Waddle.
All right. So he goes back and takes Waddle, takes Williams over OBJ. This is going to be the toughest one yet. I don't think are you? Can you guess who number 5 is?
I feel like it might be either Jamar Chase or Tyreek Hill.
It's going to be even harder than that.
Diggs? Oh. Oh, Lord. I hope Jake Jordan isn't watching.
Oh, my God.
Man.
What does he do? Let's say, just for the sake of giving more context to it, so there's less to think about, you're going to next year looking to win a Super Bowl. Which wide receiver would you rather have at wide receiver?
I'm gonna go Gabriel Davis. Right. Okay. I'm gonna go Gabriel Davis because I already said that I like Tom Brady and I don't want Bills Mafia to completely hate me. So I'm gonna go Gabriel Davis here.
So, but is that telling me that Jameson Williams is the answer deep inside? Is that what that says? All right, fine. I won't press you too much. That's a close one for us Bills fans. I wonder what Jake would say. I think Jake would say
Gabriel Davis.
I think you would say Gabe. I don't know who I'd have to put up against Gabe Davis for him not to take Gabe Davis. Like, I really have to wonder.
Randy Moss.
I know, literally. I'd have to take some all-time great for him not to take Gabe Davis. But that's a tough one. I mean, Gabe Davis is, 4 touchdowns and 200 yards in a playoff game.
And not only that, but Gabriel Davis is legitimately like etching his name into what I mean? Into the whole he's literally making a name for himself to the point where people are like, yo, I'm expecting big things from Gabriel Davis this year. Like I've heard that he is really putting an imprint on the offense to the point where he may be an untouchable at this point.
Yeah, I mean, when I really realized that Gabe Davis, made a name for himself was when I saw people in fantasy football drafts saying, I'm going to draft Gabe Davis, or Gabe Davis is the guy I'm looking out for. Just the fact that he's being talked about in fantasy football regularly is when this guy is actually being paid attention to by the greater NFL landscape. It's not only by Bills fans is he, obviously made a name for himself, but now the greater landscape of environment of the NFL, people know who Gabe Davis is. And because, granted, because of that one game, if that doesn't happen, who knows how many NFL fans know of him. But still, that one game, that's what you need in the NFL is you need that one game that puts your face on the map so that everybody knows who you are. And that was that game for Gabe Davis, and it couldn't have come at a better time. Not that it mattered, but we won't talk about that. Not that it ended up mattering at the end of the day, but that's quite all right. We're moving into our next. What's up?
It was still entertaining.
It was. That's what at least we have to grasp onto. Tell ourselves to make ourselves feel better. But the next segment is going to be the hot take, and I'm interested to hear what you have for the weekly hot take, Justus. What do you have on your mind?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I would like to let you guys know that this is not an assault. This is not an attack. However, people of Cincinnati, your team's a fraud. I'm sorry. Okay. I don't make the rules. Okay. I don't make the rules, right? I just follow them. Okay. Look, it's not up to me. Okay. And you know what? Frauds may be a bit strong. It really depends on your interpretation of what the ceiling of this football team is. If you think they're Super Bowl contenders, they are frauds. Okay, because they're not. All right. I don't know. I actually put my money where my mouth was, and my dog water bet was they ain't winning more than 9 games. And in this AFC, you probably gonna need to win more than 9 games in order to make the playoffs. And I don't see it happening. I legit can see the Bengals going like 7-9 next year. That's not the new one. 7-10 next year. I can legit see that. So my hot take is Joe Burrow, you're good. Jamar Chase, you're great. The defense is they locked up last year. They did good. I ain't going down the same way this year. Sorry.
I'm right on that bandwagon, man. I've like slowly manifested by accident, mind you, into like a Cincinnati Bengals hater. Like I've like kind of just embraced the fact that I seek out this team's failure like on a week-to-week basis. Like
which is crazy because I wanted them to beat the Chiefs.
I know. That's the funny part. It's like I'm watching this all unfold. I'm like, all right, you know what? Joe Burrow and the Bengals, they're a good story. Joe Burrow came back from that awful injury. You know, they're tearing up the league. They beat the Chiefs later on in the season. And then, you know, I'm starting to my deep-rooted hate started when, you know, they're playing in the postseason. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I mean, I thought to myself before the postseason started that this team, they're just not it. They're not real. Like there's just no way that the way they're winning football games is sustainable down the long term. I mean, you know, before the postseason started, I'm like, there's no way they're going to let this guy get sacked as often as they didn't expect to win football games. That's exactly what they ended up doing. And I would put money on these postseason games for the Bengals to lose, and they continued to win. So that's where my deep-rooted hate began.
Yeah, if you put money on the team and they keep winning, yeah, I'd hate them too.
I was like, oh my God. And you know, that's where that really began for me. But the other part is like watching them win games in a way that, you know, I felt like wasn't fiscally possible, if that's even the right word. Like the most basic rule of football in my mind, or the one thing you have to do to be successful is at least protect your quarterback. And the fact that they were winning games and going against that like mental mind block rule that I have in my mind, it really, really, really threw me for a loop. I still don't understand how they did it. You know, I guess I understand to an extent how they were able to get the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands and, you know, use the great receivers, blah, blah, blah. It's just still, my God, he got sacked like 9 times in that game against the Titans. And they won. They won. How?
Because Ryan Tannehill is a hot bomb.
Meanwhile, our quarterback, the other thing is our quarterback's out here playing superhero football and still can't get a lick of support from the other side of the ball to win a football game. I mean, I really don't mean to hate this team, but there's just so many different avenues that lead me to the same destination of wanting to see this team fail. I feel bad, but it's the truth. I just
see that's where I'm glad that I'm sort of like a football psychopath, right? I don't care. I don't care. Like people be like, oh, we're Browns fans or not Browns fans, but Browns supporters. They're like, you know, we support them because they, you know, went through the drought and they had a bad team like us. So I don't care. I root for the downfall of every AFC team every single week. I hope you all fail miserably, okay? Browns, Bengals, Broncos. I don't care. I hope you lose every single week of the season, okay? I don't wish happiness upon any AFC team that's not the Buffalo.
I mean, I feel like that's fair. I mean, there are people that have like, I mean, I am one of those people that, you know, root for a secondary team on the side for one reason or another. But I mean, at the end of the day,
if I did, it would be Aaron Donald, but that's just because I love Aaron Donald.
That's how I am with basketball, for example. We obviously don't have a team here, but that leads me to root for one player. Wherever a player is, I'm going to root for that team. And, you know, that's probably the most fair way to do it if we're being judgmental. But, you know, I don't know. The Bengals being frauds, I could not agree with you more. I feel like this is becoming more and more of a common take, too. But, you know, watch them go out.
Oh, really? I honestly haven't been watching anything.
No, it's fine. I didn't mean to call your hot take out.
Oh, no. You're good. I don't know.
No, you're right, though. There are people that truly believe that the Cincinnati Bengals have built a dynasty and Joe Burrow's a top 5 quarterback and they're going to be great for years to come. It's like, did you not watch what happened last year? That was the
Uh,
biggest fluke in decades history. That
that's
was
the new
ridiculous.
school Eagles. They thought they had a dynasty too.
Yep. Yeah, for real. I can't think about it. It makes my head hurt. But my hot take for this week is Michael Thomas was/is one of the most overrated players in the entirety of the NFL. I am big on, once I find a player and I target a player that I have something against, I will go every length, every mile to just bring this player into the ground or bring them back down to earth, depending on the circumstance. I've done it with Joe Burrow on occasion. Kirk Cousins, as you know, is like the
Kirk
biggest
Cousins.
poster boy for this narrative. It's like I will go to hell fighting for Kirk Cousins slander. Like, I don't care anymore. Michael Thomas at one point was on this list of players, and he's slowly starting to creep back up the top of it because he's coming back. He's supposed to be returning this year, and people are, getting back to, Michael Thomas is a top 5, top 3 wide receiver, one of the best in the league. Don't disrespect Michael Thomas. Stop, please. And I have this whole argument that I'm not going to get into right now as to why Michael Thomas is not what everybody thinks he is. But long story short, his best year in 2019, it was remarkable. I mean, at that point, it's hard to dispute the fact that he was a top 5 wide receiver. But, I feel like the situation he was in, the Saints, and I have evidence to support this, did not need him. And this is crazy to say, but in 2020, when the Saints were missing Michael Thomas for a majority of the time, without pulling the numbers up, their offense did not take much of a statistical drop off. I think they actually improved. I mean, and that's not saying that they didn't need Michael Thomas, but I mean, they didn't need Michael Thomas. I mean, they still were fine without him. And I feel like offenses like the Bills in 2020, for example, without Diggs, our offense is nowhere near what it was in 2020. Without Devonta Adams, the Packers offense probably is nowhere near what it is with Devonta Adams. Tyreek Hill's the same thing. All these top 5 wide receivers are, top of the line, top tier wide receivers. Their offenses need them and would take a substantial drop off without them. Whereas the Saints, with and without Michael Thomas, you don't see much of a difference. And that's where a lot of my evidence lies. But, Michael Thomas is one of those guys that I will just die slandering. Like, I'll put on my gravestone Kirk Cousins and Michael Thomas.
See, now for me, I guess it's kind of like the Bengals for me. It depends on what you think of Michael Thomas, whether to determine if I think he's overrated or not, right? I think Michael Thomas is a top 25 receiver in the league. He's a starter. He's the number one. He could be the number one on a lot of teams, some teams. But I think he got the benefit of being the number one receiver on the team with the most accurate quarterback that has ever stepped foot on a football field. So, I mean, naturally, you're going to get a lot of production. You're going to get a lot of yards. And if you're any good, you probably won't have a ton of drops. And, especially Michael Thomas, he is big and physical. He has attributes to do something. Like, he's not a bum, but do I think he's a top 5 receiver? Absolutely not. Do I think he's a top 10 receiver? No, I do not. Do I think he's a top 15 receiver? I don't. I don't think he's a top 20 receiver, but I can hear an argument for top 20, but I don't think he's that good either. So again, it depends on what people think when they think of Michael Thomas, where I would say he's overrated or not.
Right. And it's so hard right now because we haven't seen him play in, a year and a half now, where to actually put him. But it's like people, he's returning, so people are wanting to put him back where they had him before in 2019. It's like that's not the case anymore, and that's why they need great receivers in my mind need years and years and years of consistency and to be able to show that their team. I guess it all comes down to their team needing them, and I guess it's hard because not many wide receiver ones, well, at least this year, a lot of them left their previous teams, but we haven't seen their offenses with and without them. This year, we're going to see that. And, I'm going to be interested to see how it all unfolds. But, like you mentioned, Michael Thomas was in a very unique situation, which perfectly catered to his play style. And it's almost, I don't know if you've ever heard the argument against Cooper Kupp, at least before he won the Triple Crown and everything. It's like when he was tearing up the league halfway through the year, it's like everybody was saying he's only good because of his system. He's only good because, he's got Matthew Stafford. He plays in a beneficial system. It's like, that's how I feel or felt about Michael Thomas, whereas Cooper Kupp, I think, completely proved that narrative wrong. Michael Thomas, I don't know if he's really done that, in my opinion.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp is a lot more nimble, a lot more quick, a lot more agile. He can get to me, when I've watched, I haven't watched a ton of Michael Thomas film. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I have, but from what I have seen versus what I've seen from Cooper Kupp, I feel like Cooper Kupp is going to beat his man a lot easier. He's going to get open a lot easier. He's going to find the zone, the soft spot in the zone a lot quicker. He's going to, his play recognition is a lot better than Michael Thomas's to me. I feel like Michael Thomas, a lot of his catches come off of his route, whatever route he's supposed to run, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You're doing what you're supposed to do as a wide receiver. I feel like Cooper Kupp has a little bit more freedom. And typically will have a little bit of a better connection with his quarterback, or at least from what I've seen from Michael Thomas. It's not like he is. I mean, they called him Slant Boy for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't doing a whole bunch of different things. Cooper Kupp is out there literally running every single route on the tree, and making it look smooth, and changing up things when he has to give his quarterback a better chance to find a completion on the play. Like, I think Cooper Kupp was Jared Goff's best friend for a reason, and he made Matthew Stafford look like an MVP for a reason, and so I think Cooper Kupp is like that, and it's more than just his size and strength, which Michael Thomas has an abundance of, but I think it's going to take more than that to be a dominant elite wide receiver in this league, which is why I think Drake London will most likely fail.
Yeah, I mean, being one-dimensional, I think, is very, there are a lot of players that are very good at what they do, but, I feel like if you hypothetically put them in a situation where they might not be doing what exactly they're so, very good at doing, they're going to show weakness. And, like you mentioned, Drake London is, in your mind, in my mind as well. I mean, it's going to be harder. It's going to be interesting to see how he actually does. When he's actually having to get separation, having to run a route tree that's not just a go route or a fade into the corner of the end zone. Michael Thomas is the same kind of deal. It's like if he was put in a situation where he had to be more versatile and he had to be a wide receiver that worked outside the numbers for the most part, or was a deep threat, or had to be that guy that went down the field, I don't think he'd be as successful. And, guys like Devonta Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, those guys are, they do everything so damn well. Michael Thomas, you don't really think of him as a guy that works outside of his niche. And that's another reason why, he's just not. And Cooper Kupp, he's another perfect example. He does everything. Michael Thomas, I guess, is a whole different story. But yeah, that's my hot take for the week, if you didn't have anything else to touch on. And that would lead us into our final segment, the revamped quiz game, which Justus was sitting 20 minutes backstage for me to freaking prepare. Took me forever to do, but we're here. We made it. If you guys don't know how the quiz game works, and you might not because I made a lot of changes to it. The quiz game goes as follows. There are 5 NFL quiz questions. The categories go as follows: offseason events, stats question, a fantasy football question, which is new, draft question, as well as an awards question. So like coach of the year, offensive player of the year, etc. It's still the same point system: easy, medium, hard, 10, 20, 30 points. There's going to be, every time you get an answer right, Justus, you get a true or false question following that up. And if you get that right, you get half of the points worth that I think that makes sense. I just screwed up the wording. Anyway, you get 1 mulligan, which then means if you screw up a question and you want to get another question, you go right ahead and you'll have 1 per game to do so. And then there's the final question, which is going to be the final double or nothing wager. So pretty much you'll be able to put a certain amount of points down, wager a certain amount of points. If you get the question right, you double those points. If you don't, you lose the points. So there's a lot of variation to the game that I added.
Wow. Oh, this is a completely different game. Okay. All right. Okay. I got you. Okay, I got you.
So you have an opportunity here. Right now, Matt is the leader. I don't know if that's going to last very long with this new variation of the quiz game, but we are going to see. I'm excited to see how it works out. So we're going to start with the first question, being the stats question. Do you want the easy, the medium, or the hard question?
I'm gonna start off with a medium.
wait, this is the offseason events question. I'm sorry. Do you want to change your answer?
Off-season events. What was the last one? Where did Andy Dalton sign? I don't know. give me. I'll go with medium. I got a strategy. I'm gonna go medium.
All right. The medium question is, where did Za'Darius Smith sign this offseason?
Oh Lord. Oh my God.
There's no timer anymore, by the way. I got rid of it.
Za'Darius Smith. Is he formerly of the Packers? I feel like it's either the Cowboys or the Raiders. I'm going to go. Everybody went to the Raiders. No, it wasn't the Raiders. Was it the Raiders? I think I'm going to say the Raiders.
Not the Raiders. I think you're thinking of Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones was the pass rusher that went to the Raiders. Darius Smith went to the Vikings this offseason. Went over in Minnesota. That was their big offseason acquisition that's supposed to make them an above 500 team. But he went to he went to the Vikings. Next question, though. There's still lots of points on the board to grab, Justice. There's no reason to fret. Question number 2. This is going to be the stats question. You want the easy, the medium, or the hard?
Stats. I'm gonna go medium.
All right. Medium question is, who was the Bills' second leading receiver last season?
Oh God. Cole Beasley.
Correct. It was Cole Beasley. You are right. You're on the board, Justice. That is a 20-point answer. You got 20 points on the board. That leads us to the true or false. So this is going to be worth 10 points. True or false is pretty simple. I'm going to make a statement. You got to tell me whether it's true or false. Cole Beasley had the third most receptions for the Bills last season. True or false?
Like any player of receivers?
Just any offensive player.
It's false.
Correct. He was the second. He was the second most reception leader for the Buffalo Bills. There you go. You now have 30 points on the board. Only 2 questions in. You're now on good pace. Question number 3 is going to be, this is a fantasy football question. Do you play fantasy football? No,
not really. Ooh.
Okay. So do you want to go with the easy, the medium, or the hard for this one?
I'm going to go medium.
All right, going medium again. Another Bills question. Was Tyler Bass a top 5 fantasy kicker last season?
Now, on one hand, he got a lot of extra points. On the other hand, maybe there wasn't a ton of field goal opportunities due to so many touchdowns. Top 5 fantasy kicker in the AFC or just in the NFL?
Overall, NFL in general.
I'm going to say yes because he was so accurate.
He was not a top 5 fantasy kicker. No, Tyler Bass, the extra points were what killed him. The offense being so good was pretty much what killed him.
Yeah.
You said it yourself. It's just the offense scored like touchdowns almost every freaking drive. So Tyler Bass's field goal opportunities definitely.
Wait, can I get a mulligan right there?
Yeah. So if you want to take another question, you want to take your mulligan. I gotta remind you that you can do that. So do you want another fantasy football question? Or do you want to use the mulligan on another?
I'm gonna use it for the fantasy football.
All right. So do you want the easy or the hard one?
Oh Lord! Oh damn it! The medium's gone.
Yes, the medium's gone.
I'm gonna go big or go home.
Go home. All right. So that means hard. The mulligan question: who was the highest scoring defense in fantasy football last season?
Highest scoring defense in fantasy football last season. So how does defense score points on turnovers?
So on turnovers, yeah, they get 2 points for a fumble recovery or an interception, 6 points for a touchdown, 1 point for a sack, stuff like that.
I am going to go with the Patriots.
They were second. I think.
No!
The Patriots were second, I believe. The number one scoring defense was Trayvon Diggs and the Dallas Cowboys. That boy led that defense to a lot of fantasy points because of his interceptions.
Damn it.
Yes, you were close. The Patriots was a very, very good guess. You were right on the edge of it. That was close.
Wasn't the Bills because we get no turnovers.
No, yeah, the Bills. No. The Bills were actually like fourth or fifth, I believe.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, they did not get enough turnovers to be any higher than that. They didn't give up a lot of points in a lot of games, which helped their case. But Scott says, wow.
Oh, man. Scott, you feel my pain, bro.
Scott said the Rams, which also was a good answer. I'm not sure where they placed, but it was the Cowboys. All right, so you get question number 4. This is going to be the draft question. Do you want the easy, the medium, or the hard draft question?
What I got so far? 30?
Yes.
Draft? This is like last year's draft or every draft?
Every draft.
Oh, Lord. I'm going to go with medium here.
Go medium again. All right. Medium question is, how many teams had multiple picks in the top 10? I meant last season. I didn't specify that, but this past season.
Jaguars. Lions had multiple picks. Lions. I feel like the Jets.
Just in the top 10.
The Jets had a one that was outside the top 10. Oh, man. Lions is definitely one. I'm trying to think what was in there. Bears was in there. Giants was in there. I'm going to go with one.
It was 2.
No!
Justus, you're right on this. You're skimming the top every time. So it was actually the Giants and the Jets had 2 picks.
The Jets! The damn Jets!
The Jets took, I think it was Garrett Wilson at 10 and then Sauce Gardner at 3 or 4. And then the Giants took Evan Neal and who was the other guy they took? They took the pass rush. Kayvon Thibodeau. That was their 2 selections. Yes, you skimmed it right again, man. That was so close. You muted yourself, I think.
So I wasn't the Lions? It was the Giants?
No, the Lions did not have 2 in the top 10.
So I was sounding like an idiot anyway.
No, you only had to get the number right.
The number,
so, I mean,
right.
You were on the relative track.
Yeah. Damn it, man. I demand another question like Matt Parade.
All right, so question number 5 is the final question. This is the award question. So do you want the easy, the medium, or the hard?
I have no choice but to go hard.
All right, so the hard question is, in the history of the NFL, how many wide receivers have won Offensive Player?
How many receivers or how many times?
How many receivers?
I have to imagine Randy. I have to imagine Jerry. I know it's probably high. I'm going to say 8.
It's only 3.
Damn.
3. Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp, Jerry Rice won twice, and the other one was somebody's slipping my mind. Cooper Kupp, Jerry Rice. Who's the third one that's slipping my damn mind? I have it written down. It was Michael Thomas. Thomas, of course, it was. Michael Thomas, Cooper Kupp, and Jerry Rice won it twice. So, I mean, you have to think the receiver position for Offensive Player of the Year, I mean, no, they don't win it. I don't know why they don't give out that.
I see.
It's a running back, quarterback award for the majority.
Yeah, but the quarterback is getting the MVPs. You would think that the wide receivers would be getting Offensive Player of the Year.
You would think, but the NFL does things completely ass backwards 95% of the time. We know that.
This is true.
All right, so you have one last chance. You get the wager question. You have 30 points to wager. Do you want to wager all 30
God,
points?
I forgot about the wager. I would have played the game completely different if I remember the wager. Oh, damn it. I would have definitely took easy those last two so I could have at least 50 to wager. Damn. Okay. All right. I'm wagering everything. I'm already not making the number one.
All right. So he's going to wager everything. He's going to put all 30 points in. He has it down. All right. So the wagered question
I will
is...
cancel my show to come back onto this cave again. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. All right. So the wagered question is, who is the most recent first overall pick to win Rookie of the Year?
Damn the cave, man. You got the heart. No. These are good questions. I gotta brush up. The most recent rookie to win Rookie of the most recent overall pick, not the most recent rookie. Most recent number one overall pick. Let's think about number one overall picks. Andrew Luck did not win. RG3 won. Cam Newton won. Number one overall picks. Trevor Lawrence did not win. Jamar Chase was not a number one pick. I'm gonna say did Baker win it? I'm gonna go Baker.
You said it. It was Cam
Newton.
Newton. It was Cam Newton. You said it.
You muted.
Oh, wait, I am? Wait, am I really muted? What the fuck? Can you hear me?
I can tell by your face I got it wrong, though.
Why can't you hear me? How about now?
Wait, is it me?
I don't know. Yeah, it says mine is working. Your headset die? Your headset might have died. Oh.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. That was my headphones.
No, you're good. You said it. It was Cam Newton. You said it. You like Cam Newton won. And
you know what's crazy? Is I was dead about to say Cam Newton, and then I thought about Baker, and I was like, wait. I was like, Baker was the number one overall pick. Didn't he win Offensive Rookie of the Year? And I guess he did.
It was Cam Newton. I thought you were gonna say it. You said Cam Newton won.
I was like 2 seconds away from saying it. I literally should have won. I should have the high score right now based off of some of my answers. I was like 1 off or something.
You were the defensive question. You were 1 position off. You got that one 1 spot off. Oh my god! You had a tough ride. You will be back. I mean,
yeah, 1 million. You damn right. I'm gonna be back, man. I can't go out like this, man.
You are going to be back. Don't worry, Justus. It's all right. You're a victim of the rigorous new cave revamp system. So
listen, I'm studying my tail off before I come on the show again. All right. I'm treating this like Jeopardy.
All right, fair enough. I also had you in the tank 20 minutes before the show started, so that's not fair.
Let's play caveman. It was your fault.
I iced you. Yeah, I did. Yeah. I do deserve some blame for that.
He iced me, and I Scott Norwood it.
All right, well, that will wrap things up, guys. I really appreciate everybody for stopping in. Justus, you are always you're the best.
I appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate
you having me on, man. It's
always
always a blast. And look, bro, I really enjoy working with you. Everything you say, I appreciate, and I echo the exact same sentiment, bro. You are a brother to me, and it's always awesome anytime we get together and talk.
Yeah, definitely, man, and I feel the same exact way. And I'm looking forward to being. I think we're talking tomorrow. We're talking Wednesday. We got a lot of
yeah.
I'm
3 days straight of Justus and Gabe, man. Let's go.
It's gonna be a blast, man, and I'm really excited. But thank you guys for tuning in. I'm gonna let you guys go to bed. It's freaking 10:50. I'm sorry for starting late. Never will happen again. Justus, you of course will be more than welcome back on the show later on in the future. But I hope to see you guys in the next one. And I'll see y'all later. Go Bills.
Go Bills.